Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be back with you this week. And yeah, we're talking about emotions. Why emotions matter. Okay. What are emotions? I want to really dive into this because this is so important because we're humans and humans have feelings. Even if we're like, I don't feel anything, we know that's not true. Okay. We're humans and this is what we do. We feel. Everything that we do is because of how we feel about something. Feelings, emotions are caused by what we are thinking. Don't believe me? That's okay. I didn't believe this either for a long time. Now, we might think that our feelings are, let's say, involuntary, especially if you're an emotional empath, right? We pick up these feelings, okay? We're empathic to someone's story, or we can pick up, we see someone in pain and we have a thought about it. Like, oh, I remember feeling this way too. Okay. So yeah, we do kind of pick up feelings from people, but we first have to have a thought about it. Now, I like to use what is called, you can find this out there on the internet, anywhere. It's called an emotion wheel, and it's got several basic emotions, and then it kind of filters down into more of a granular description of emotions. And you can find that if you're in our Facebook group, Empath Insights Facebook group. I have already posted that up there. I usually post that up there once or twice a month just to remind people that, hey, if you're having trouble tapping into your emotions or your feelings, I've got an emotion wheel for you. Okay. Again, I didn't create it. I just found it out in internet land, and I decided that that's something that would help the group. It also helps me when I'm coaching people as well. So in general, emotions can be summed up in basically one word. We can go angry, happy, sad, frustrated. That's one that kind of comes up for me a lot, is frustrated. And a lot of times we think of emotions as just being negative. Now there's all kinds of positive emotions. We obviously, there's the happy one. There's confident, peaceful, curious. And I want to remind you that thoughts are not feelings. Let me explain, because this is what I sometimes find myself doing, and I find some of my clients trying to do as well. And we have to take a step back and really understand what's going on. When I ask myself, or sometimes when I ask my client, what are you feeling about the thing that happened? Okay, because there's always the thing that happened, and then we have a thought or a story about it. And that story or thought creates a feeling. But a lot of times we say, I feel that they should ... Does that sound familiar? I find myself doing that still. I think I will probably always do that, but I'm getting a lot better at catching myself. Like, wait a minute, that's a story about what I think another person should be doing, or how someone should show up in the world based on my thoughts about it. So sometimes we get ourselves into these feelings. We get ourselves into these feelings by the thoughts that we think. And just remember that thoughts are not feelings, and thoughts, our story, comes from the fact. The fact is there's something out there that we've created a story about. I like to give examples and I like to give stories. Just say you have this friend and he or she didn't call you after you had a bit of a misunderstanding. Okay, well, that is a fact. You had a misunderstanding. They haven't called you yet. Okay, it's something that everyone can agree on. We can all prove it. Your phone didn't ring. We've got, the whole caller ID thing. And your thought about it might be, a good friend. A friend should not be this way. A friend shouldn't act this way. A friend should call me. Or you think, she should call me. I'm not calling her. I know. Have you ever done that before? So based on this thought that a friend shouldn't act this way, you might become what? You might become angry. You might become confused. Annoyed is something that comes up for me if I think that someone should do something. Frustrated, hurt even. So let's pick out the one annoyed. Okay, it's kind of in the middle. Annoyed. Because you're annoyed, what do? Well, you're probably going to show up in the world a certain way. Your actions might look like this. You don't speak to this person. You don't call them. You might engage in another argument. You might stop talking to this person altogether. And then what happens? Then you've got this result sitting here. You haven't spoken to your friend. And have you ever been in one of those situations? You're like, you know what? I think we're mad at each other, but I don't even remember what the circumstance was or what the fight was about or the argument, right? We do that with family members a lot because we all have little side squabbles. And then you're like, I'm really mad, but I can't remember what I'm supposed to be mad about. So really just check in with yourself on that one. So let's go back to why feelings really matter. Okay, the feelings that people want to skip. Feelings help us increase our awareness about what's going on in our mind. Now let's think about something a little bit more generic. Let's say a new car or a new house or a new job, something that you want. You're like, well, what does feelings have to do with this? Well, we generally, why do we want these things? Why do we want a new car? It's going to make us feel great. Why do we want a new house or maybe a different house? It's going to make us feel a certain way. Why do we want a new job? Well, it's going to make us feel a certain way. So we're looking into the future and like, if I only had this, I would be happy, right? Now, you might think about a new car and have this scenario. Maybe your car that you have is not that reliable. So maybe you want a different car, a newer car, because you'll have a sense of security. It will decrease a certain amount of stress in your life. Maybe your car is not getting you from A to B as reliably as it should. And so you would feel better. Some people want to move to a different house or maybe a different neighborhood, and maybe it's a sense of security, right? Or a new job. They will be happier in a new job. Maybe. We don't know for sure, but that's generally why do we want these things? It's going to give us a better feeling. Shopping, that new outfit, going to the hair salon, getting your nails done. And I want to remind you, there's nothing wrong with wanting different things. This is not you shouldn't want to feel better. I'm just bringing your awareness to the feeling. So I want you to take just a minute or just a few moments to really think about what you have been wanting, what you really want now. Now go a little bit deeper and ask yourself, how do you imagine that you would feel when you get this? Why do you want this new thing? This, new job, new house, maybe new hairstyle, new outfit. Maybe you're going on vacation and you want a new outfit for vacation, right? Get really specific. You might even want to write this down. Why do you want a different house? Maybe you want to have a different environment. That's okay. What is the feeling that comes up? Do you feel more content? Are you happy? Are you safe? Do you feel more peaceful? Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting something new. But try to go deeper and ask yourself, what is the feeling you think you'll create? Okay. So here's another thing. The flip side of this is feelings, emotions also matter because of what we avoid. Now, this is where the coaching comes in. A lot of times people are like, I just don't want to feel this way. I don't want this emotion to come up. How do I stop it? Well, Here we go. Now, here the interesting thing is most people are unaware of what we're feeling and we're unable to label them. I even have clients let's just skip the feelings and just tell me what to do. Now, I love telling people what to do, but that does not serve you if you cannot address the feeling that's coming up when you're suffering from your own thoughts. I asked in the group, I think it was maybe last Wednesday, I said, what are the top 3 feelings that you have been feeling this week? Just in general. And so one person said, I've felt happy and confident and anxious. Have you felt that way? I love this one. This one's from a meditation teacher friend of mine, Shirley. She said, happiness, overwhelm, and self-doubt. And she's like, but I always return to happiness and calm. Yes, you can tap in to happiness, self-doubt, and calm and overwhelm with your thoughts. That's what we do. We just don't realize we're doing it. Kate said, I've felt frustrated, anxious, and curious this week. Jan had a more detailed, she's like, it's been a rough week for me. I've felt a lot of different things. She said, I felt hopeful. I've also felt sad and powerless and acknowledged and distracted and grateful and despairing and compassionate to herself. She's like, and it's only in the middle of the week. I've had all of these feelings. Well, I'm just saying, good for you. She's like, what I haven't felt is anger. And she almost thinks that she might be doing something wrong because she hasn't felt anger just yet. And that's okay. And there's something that she said that would have justified anger this week, but she's like, I'm not feeling anger. So I want you to take a look at some of the feelings that you've been feeling over the last week. I want you to list your top 3 in your head or on a piece of paper and ask yourself, what was I thinking that brought up those feelings? Because you're going to find it. Listen, the brain loves to solve puzzles or solve problems. Once you ask yourself a question, your brain is going to start searching for an answer. Now, if you have, let's just say curious or anger or happy, where are you feeling that in the body? So if you're not driving, if you're not exercising, if you're not walking, if you're sitting here listening to this without operating anything, without moving around too much, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and on the exhale, name that feeling or emotion, and then it's hanging out in your body somewhere. And then let's figure out where in the body it's located. And it might even have a color. What color is it? Does it have a texture or a shape? Is it hard or soft or light? Is it moving around? Is it heavy? Is it dense? Is it transparent? Can you see through it? So just take a few moments for yourself. Explore these feelings. And I'm going to ask you, just for a little bit of fun homework, just to tap into your thoughts, a little writing exercise. I want you to write down 3 feelings that you've been feeling this week. And I just want you to write maybe a couple of sentences about each feeling. I felt frustrated this week. I've been happy. I've been curious. I've been angry. And I have a lot of little side stories about that. And then I got to coach myself on them. And then I got to look at them in a different way. Okay, so that is your homework. The top 3 feelings that you've been feeling this week, and write a little bit about those feelings. And I will talk more about feelings in the next episode. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Be kind to yourself. Say nice things to yourself. And be kind to others.